Here's where we are now at the Antonia Fortress, which is here at Ecce Homo. See, the pathway of the Via Dolorosa a long time ago would have been outside the wall. So see, from Antonia Fortress, where we are now at Ecce Homo, he would have traveled outside the wall, notice, down the steps, through the Via Dolorosa, all the way across what is now the old city, out the gate, then out to Golgotha, then later buried in. We're here at Ecce Homo. At this very place stood the Praetorium, where Pilate would have tried Jesus. We're down in the basement and we see here the first century flooring. It's very possible that Jesus actually walked these very streets, perhaps even when he walked that way of suffering, the Via Dolorosa. Jesus was tried by Pilate here. Now, trials in the first century were much different than trials today. Today we would see evidence and verdict. Back then, a game of honor and shame. Jesus, you notice in the Gospels, hardly ever responded to the accusations. Of course, in that day, if someone was accused of something, there should have been a response. To keep honor, if there was a challenge, there would be a response. But you know, one of the honor of Jesus, being divine, did not really have to respond. But when he did not respond, of course, the people took the natural verdict that he was of shame. We're going down to the cistern that is below the church. Ecce Homo Monastery. Ecce Homo, which means behold the man. This is the place where the Praetorium was, where Pilate would have tried Jesus, and where he would have presented him to the Jews and said, behold the man, and washed his hands. This area here is the place near the Praetorium where the Via Dolorosa begins. But down here below, in the basement, we see the original floors that date back to the first century. The reason that the first century floors are so far below is that the temple was rebuilt so many times after the life of Christ. And so it was built one on top of the other. So these excavations just keep going on. So we're way down in the basement looking at those first and second century floors. Hadrian built most of this area, except that in certain places we see the original stones of the old Praetorium.